Hi and welcome back everyone. We are still live here in Barcelona at the OFFF Festival and I have the Tsto agency here, Matti, Antti, Jonathan. Welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Yay. How are you?
Good. Nice to be here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice to be here.
What brings you to OFFF?
Well, we were invited. We originally, like maybe 4 years ago, we were talking at this Blanc event outside of Barcelona in Villanova, and then now there is this Blanc and OFFF have joined forces, and so we're there. They asked us to come back. I guess we did something right.
What were you talking about?
The last time?
Yeah, the last
Yeah.
time.
Kind of little bit about the history of the studio and how we manage it, and showed some current projects. And I can't really remember that well.
So we used to be a studio of 6 designers altogether. So that's one of the key storylines in our company. So like if we would have been 6 here, it would have been quite hard to fit.
Yeah.
And you started in Finland?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
So next year we'll have our 10th anniversary.
Okay. And I've seen you also have an office in New York now, so you expanded?
Yeah, Jonathan is in New York.
Office,
So
yeah.
we have 2 partners in Helsinki, and I'm in New York.
Yeah.
And how did you originally meet in Helsinki?
We were all studying in the University of Art and Design in Helsinki, nowadays known as Aalto University. We were all studying graphic design there, and then we had this like a tight group of friends, and so we did like a lot of stuff together already in those school days, like collaborating, and even at that time we felt that maybe someday we could like set up our own studio, because there wasn't maybe that many interesting design studios in Helsinki at that time. So we decided that it's best to make one.
Yeah, and then we after studying we shared like a lot of studio spaces and kept working on projects together, and it just kind of felt natural to join forces and go for something bigger.
Yeah, one day everybody quit their day jobs and then set up TS.
That sounds more dramatic than what it was, but why not?
It was almost like that.
Amazing. If you guys out there have any questions, our chat is back up and running. Drop them in the chat and I can ask them right here. But show us some work. What is the latest project you have been working on?
Well, I have to admit that we haven't really like updated our website for 2 years.
We're waiting for the artificial intelligence to update our website.
We've been a bit too busy, but yeah, we're working on it as we speak. But
how about social media?
yeah, we have some like for example, in Instagram. So maybe like what we are working on at the moment is, for example, this Flow Festival identity.
The 2019 edition.
Yeah, Flow Festival is we could start off with that one, because you can find it also on our website, this like older Flow festivals. Let's see.
So it was one of our first projects with the 6
one of your
partners.
first ones?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So it's one of our.
Yeah, they were like, we don't normally do that much pitching, but the Flow Festival was looking for a new design studio to renew their identity, and it was already. Then we were like frequent visitors to the festival, and also the musical topic is like interesting for us. So we pitched for them, and then we got the job, and we did it for 4 years. It's this like this is done in 2011. We did this like flow typeface, and we kept repeating it all over the place. It became like this like mantra.
And the pictures, did you take them yourself?
For the portfolio?
Yeah.
Yeah, this time we were usually like taking photos by ourselves.
We were doing like everything ourselves,
Yeah.
but now we've managed to kind of resource. Actually, some of the documentation here is by this Johannes Rompainen, a Helsinki-based photographer.
Yeah.
So luckily, not everything. But at the time, it was like really like crafty stuff. So we like all the portfolio shots are like done by us, but then the kind of outdoor things are by somebody else.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that? 10 years?
Yeah, it's almost
pretty
like
much
8 years
8
ago.
years.
We started working around 2010, exactly kind of the year we started our company. So it was like super lucky coincidence for us.
So now looking back at it, would you change anything?
So that's there's an interesting
around this project?
storyline because we got a chance to kind of revisit it, and
Oh, really?
that brings us to uh, the like the festival identity this year as well. So we did it for 4 years.
Yeah, from 2011 until 2014, and then we had kind of like drained our original concept for the identity. So it in mutual consent with the client, we decided that it's best to part ways. And then another design studio did it for 3 years, and then like last year they asked us if we could like get back together.
So what we kind of like did change was like we looked into the typography again, and then we worked with this German-Finnish type studio called Tsto, and did some like variations on the typeface. So that was like that was a big change that we kind of like to take it like to reopen the casket. That was something we really wanted to like keep like working on.
So you look more into the typography side of things,
Yes,
pretty much,
yeah. And then like stripping it from the illustrative side, that was really like a strong element before.
What did you find was different in typography back then and now?
It was very different.
Yeah.
I think there's like a whole scene. There must have been like thousands of typefaces
And I think
released
like,
after that years.
And I think like when we were studying, it was like we were like quite a lot into like illustration and that sort of, and there wasn't this like type scene yet. As in nowadays, I think many people are really into like this new like small type foundries popping up all the time. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, and like the original typeface was kind of like handcrafted lettering kind of thing. We weren't like type designers, but yeah, so it has this like kind of quirkiness and playfulness,
which we were totally honest about at the time also, that we're not great type designers, but if we do something with our hands, maybe there's some added value or a sense of humor maybe.
Yeah, at least.
We're not a super serious studio after all.
That's okay. And the video is a trailer around
it's
the
like
festival,
this.
or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we play that?
Yeah, we can take it.
One of the things that we're going to talk about later today also is that the typographic system that was inspired by kind of chanting or like crowd going crazy and yelling like ah. So we kind of found ways to make that visual, and then when we made it visual, we also brought it back to the sound. So this song was actually kind of designed for the festival. It has the same kind of repeating elements that you can see in the typography as well.
And did you animate that yourself?
No. Luckily not.
No, we've always had like like a pool of people who we collaborate on a regular basis, like who can do stuff that we can't.
So mainly like animators, developers. I mean, Jonathan is actually a really good developer, but he's also a great designer, so we don't want to waste his talent.
Do you think animation has become more important over the past years?
For
since
sure.
you started?
Yeah, it's becoming like now that it's kind of like really normal that you have something animated, because it's also like a lot easier to do it like.
Yeah, it felt like before, like it was kind of a little special thing to have something moving, or have like typography living in some like animated context. But now it's more of a standard that needs to be also like involved.
Yeah, and when you start, we do like mostly visual identities. So if you start designing an identity, we can already like think about how it's gonna move.
Yeah.
So
and then
you pre-plan that in advance, so as soon as
we take it in consideration, that everything has to be like quite flexible and
like the identities that we design, they're often like flexible. There's some like room for movement, and that they're never like, we try and avoid creating like really static identities. So there's always going to be variation of the logo type, or there might not even be a logo, but it's just like set in some type, and then that can live somehow through either extended font cuts or something along those lines.
And even the posters these days are kind of moving.
Yep.
So like our process is that we usually think of things as something that can work both as static and moving, but we usually give kind of art direction and freedom to the animators to also create like interesting movement. So it's nice. It's like it's like doing the posters in a totally different way.
Yeah.
So this was a print poster that
Yeah.
that
They
kind
got
of
animated.
Yeah.
Really interesting. Was there a client in your career where it was very difficult for you to put yourself into the project and to deliver it?
You mean
Yeah.
like a difficult client?
Not necessarily a difficult client, just like from your perspective, because you said you like music, you like
Yeah.
festivals, so
Yeah.
you have done a great job there, obviously. But was there one where you struggled to get into it, and where you probably have done 100 drafts and it
Well.
still wasn't right?
So that's a good question. We usually one of our key ideologies, or maybe staying small, is trying to work with people that we really kind of mesh with, like with the people that are interested in the same things as we are. So, but when we were 6 people, it was much harder, since we needed to have the salaries for 6 designers who also were partners. So
Yeah.
So we needed to say yes to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Can you think of like any examples? Like,
Well, I
mean,
remember this, there was this once we did like a private hospital
Oh, yeah,
identity, for example,
Yeah,
which is something that would be like really kind of like hard to imagine nowadays, because now we have this like certain profile, and it's usually that the clients know our work, but at that time it was more like that we had like clients who didn't know us, they just needed somebody to do graphic design for them. So that's always like a totally different kind of, then maybe your opinions are not valued as much. And
yeah,
so
now we're in the position to kind of like follow our own values a bit further, so we can turn things down that don't feel right.
yeah, and then we are at this like expert position where we can like tell the client if we feel that it could be done in another way, and we can have like conversations. And
When did you start adding digital stuff to your work?
I think since the start, pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, you would say that we were one of the first generations that actually had a chance to learn both in like a really broad way. So I would say it was immediate, but then also we were 6 people, so there was a lot of interest.
yeah,
I was more interested in something like web design to begin with, and also kind of the behind the scenes in that. And then we had the other partners that we had were, for example, Inka, who became kind of like an artist, and I wanted to get quite far from the technical aspect. So it was kind of a nice combination.
yeah,
But we try to handle both. We try to handle the kind of material, physical aspects, and also the crazy moving digital world.
Do you feel that it has changed over the years? Was there a higher demand in print media at the beginning and now a higher demand in digital media, or?
well, I think the amount of print in general has probably gone down, but we're still doing quite a lot of print.
Yeah.
It's maybe with the clients we're working on, and yeah, I think it's like the digital thing is like really natural nowadays. Like,
Yeah. But with the print stuff, like I think like there's much more of sort of if something gets produced, it needs to be done really well. So, like for Typography, for example, how does this work?
it's loading.
Oh, but it's like
Yeah, you have to press it just right.
But meanwhile it's loading, I could add
Yeah, it's
loading.
like
We can-
print.
You always have some problems with the internet.
like we can no, don't worry.
Yeah.
So we put like when print gets produced, it needs to kind of like live up to certain standards, and that it's not just like any random print. So we like to use a lot of like specific printing methods and really like do material research on the papers and materials. So there's like for example this Typography, we do all their invitations and exhibition identities, and they're really like we can use like a lot of like special printing techniques and really look into the material.
Did you print the actual pictures from the exhibition on the business cards, or?
No, the business cards were just, this is an invitation for an exhibition.
And was this a picture from there, or did one of your colleagues illustrate
No,
it?
this is Hilma of Klint's work.
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
this is the artist. So so here it's kind of almost like breaking the boundaries. Hilma of Klint, gladly wasn't like here to comment on
she's
us
not
putting
alive
type
anymore.
over her work, but it creates a really nice effect.
It's like blind embossed typeface.
Yeah.
It comes across really nice on the picture, actually.
Yeah.
It's great that you added pictures and not just a draft.
Maybe it was like with the digital also that when you used, like when we were starting up still, like for example with fonts, you couldn't use like any font on websites, and it was like the web font techniques were like not as developed as they are now, because now you can do like this print like designs in the digital medias, and that's really nice.
Yeah.
That's great. Was there a project in your career that you thought at the beginning it was really great and then figured out that it was actually not, where you have learned most from?
But those are probably buried somewhere.
In the archive.
Tell us about. We don't have to show
okay,
them, but tell us about your experience and what you learned from it.
Like a project, we definitely. We definitely.
Yeah, me made mistakes probably a lot, and but you always learn from them. But it's hard to come up now with some like really like.
Tell us some mistakes that you have done in the past that you would never do.
I think one is like not trusting your intuition. Like, so there have been projects that we've started, but then they never end up in our portfolio because there's something that doesn't feel right about it. Either it's the profile or some kind of communicating thing. You know, the tentacles are not touching in the right way.
Yeah.
So like not letting go early enough sometimes, and then like sticking to clients who necessarily don't appreciate your work.
Yeah,
so that's like something we've like learned.
Yeah, it's kind of a cliche, but learning to say no is super important in our practice, since you can waste 2 months for people that don't really like your work. So that's been kind of where we gotten better, and
so there's kind of like mutual respect between, you know, you respect the client and they respect you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you design, and like when you're doing identities, you design an identity and you think it's gonna be really nice, but then for various reasons it can be like hard to implement it in the actual applications. So then when you think about like, for example, putting it to your portfolio, you realize that you don't have like any material where the identity would look nice. Because sometimes you just hand it over to the client and maybe they have an in-house team, and then it's too difficult for them to use or something. But I think like this is something that we've gotten a lot better throughout the years, because we know we can always take in consideration if we are going to do the applications or somebody else.
Great. Question about your website and Instagram. What do you put on which medium and why?
Well, as we mentioned at the beginning, we haven't put a lot of stuff on our website recently, just because of busyness, I guess. So Instagram has been kind of our main like medium for the moment to post work, and then other things. But we're speaking as we speak. We're like building a new website.
Maybe when you look at our Instagram profile from the beginning, it's still loading up. But for example, it used to be more like this kind of like work in process thing, and our first picture is from our local grocery store windows. So we've.
Would you still post that?
No, nowadays.
Why not?
Well, it's more like
coming back.
but maybe it's like Insta story material nowadays, because then this was the feed, and still here we've announced that we have a website, and we made some like this is that we don't have like, because we thought maybe that the work stuff is on our website anyway. And
this like serves a different purpose.
Yeah, but then at some point maybe, because our web portfolio is there, every project that gets put into it gets like quite a big amount of I don't know, like attention in our website because of the structure of it. So.
And you also mix it. Is that your team?
No, that's like some French students visiting the studio.
But this is our studio. So
they're behind.
Nice kind of
So you use it for both. You post project as well as when people come and visit you, when you have events happening.
Maybe nowadays social media.
But nowadays, if you look
at this house, did you do that, or
which one?
The house that was just below here.
No, that's the Vitra.
That's
Vitra headquarters.
Vitra owns our very important client Artek, which is like a Finnish furniture company who we've done a lot of projects with. So we were once visiting the Vitra headquarters because we were doing this stationary line with them.
Yeah, but I would say, for us probably we want to kind of use the Instagram as some sort of connection to our community. So sometimes it's also about like showing our friends' work. This is, for example, our friend Mandy Yao, who does really beautiful artworks, and she didn't have any place to store this artwork, so she gave it to us for I don't know if it's temporary loan.
Yeah,
or
temporary loan.
what the
Now it
terms
is.
are.
After this stream, it's yours.
Yeah, but we're hoping that we'll get to maybe acquire it from her at some point.
So there's a bit more like, you know, not necessarily all projects or all work. This is us working on our presentation at the hotel.
Yesterday,
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks very prepared. That's great. Do you have any other social media channels as well?
Well, we
Or
have
mainly?
like Twitter and Instagram, but we hardly use them.
Facebook.
Like Twitter and
Okay.
Facebook.
Yeah, Instagram seems to be the best for like our industry in a way.
designer? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can
Why
like
do you think is that?
Because it's like so much like image led.
Yeah. Facebook is almost like then even closer kind of circle of friends. So if we'll, for example, have a party in Helsinki, we'd probably use Facebook rather than Instagram. So yeah,
mostly like we're not posting a lot of text or, you know, commenting a lot of on stuff. It's mostly just like showing things that we've made or somehow interest us.
Looks really great. Can you show us a digital project that you have done recently?
yeah.
There's the Anhava website. That's a recent one.
So this, for example, was so we do work in kind of traditional web design as well. So this is a part related to the other project mentioned earlier, Artec. So Artec used to be Artec Gallery and Artec as a furniture maker, and Artec Gallery became Gallery Anhava. So we had kind of the privilege of working with this like a Helsinki monument, an institution, and I think you mentioned earlier that have our maybe style changed a bit through the years. So we came up with doing a lot of illustration and crazy shapes and colors, but we're kind of shifting towards the art world where everything is giving a bit more space to the artwork. So here, for example, we're quite traditionally in our typographic gestures.
Yeah, so it's more about the typography and how to use white space and composition. Yeah.
What would you say is the difference between white space on paper and white space on the web?
Oh, it's definitely it's a crazy feeling to design for a square that can be in any shape. So you got this kind of paranoia of like, will it work on the smallest of mobiles? I mean, it's weird.
How do you test that?
No, well, there's multiple ways to test that, but I think the best way is still to like find a friend with an old iPhone, and at a bar you look at it like, oh no, it doesn't work.
But do you build prototypes as well, or
Yeah.
you test it with them?
Yeah,
Or what is your usual workflow? Do you start with print and then you move on to web, or do you start digital first and then do print, or what
usually
would you recommend?
It's often like pretty concept driven, like when we're designing an identity that has like print and digital applications. We often make like several drafts or tryouts, and then like just see how the identity would work in like all these platforms, and then we present it to the client like through like Marvel app, like for the websites.
So just static JPEGs that you can move around and then see if they work in concept and in the prototype. Yeah. And then we move on to for example, working with our developer Ville, who's in Stockholm, who's really fast at then doing prototypes in code. But yeah, you never know what you need first, if you need print first or digital first.
Yeah, but it's like it often starts with the kind of identity basics
Yeah.
and then seeing how that will work in different platforms.
That is maybe one of the, if you asked earlier about hard briefs, is if someone comes to you with a logo that's already there, and you're like, it's nice, but could we start from the beginning?
What is your usual process in analyzing a logo and how to improve it?
Well, we're pretty intuitive, I think.
Yeah,
We-
go with the gut feeling. If it
Yeah.
doesn't like somehow look nice, then it's just like
Yeah.
we can think about if we feel that we cannot. It's hard to put a nice identity like colors, typography next to it. If it's not just like working, then yeah. So maybe then we try to convince the client if we could change it. But of course, sometimes it's not going to happen. So then we have to think about if we are the right people to still work on the project.
You also said you are based in the New York office and you are in Helsinki.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest difference between the two continents when it comes to design?
Yeah, I would. It's interesting to have kind of learned it in different ways. I think when I started working with people in New York, they kind of need much more proof that okay, this is something that it's definitely going to work. Like there's no way to fail it. Like we're taking this process step by step. So you almost need to have your lawyers with you in the first meeting. But then. And in Helsinki, for example, it's more of like, let's have coffee, let's talk about things a little bit and not rush into anything. But I think those are changing fast as well, and it's almost like a global culture at the moment. So we, for example, all kind of I collaborate in Helsinki projects and you collaborate in New York projects. So
Yeah. Yeah, just through Skype, and then it's also like because of the time difference, like Jonathan's day usually starts when we already have our days about to be finished maybe or something. So we have like few hours there. It's like mutual time and then so but it's kind of like the studio is running almost all the time. Yeah.
And what was your reason for choosing New York and
Well,
not another city?
The reasons were romantic. So
Oh, we want to hear that. Okay.
But it was also like something. I think it got quite close to us starting the company, but I was really interested and excited in kind of taking this kind of opportunity to expand our company and expand the kind of people that we work with the world. And I think freedom is one of our like companies, one of the ideologies. So Antti, for example, took a residency in Japan at some point, and Matti's also been in New York for different kind of residencies. So we don't maybe want to even get into too deep of a structure where everything has to be the bosses at the office. So we kind of can work from abroad as well.
Yeah, and rather keep the studio small and so it's like manageable.
Like it makes our lives better instead of like just tying us down.
Yeah.
But you all agreed to New York?
Yeah.
We're okay with the romance. Yeah.
It was
great.
like
That's the best excuse.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all love at that point. Yeah.
Okay, so on that note, we had a lot of portfolio review submissions from you guys out there. Thank you for that. They all want to learn from you, and we have hand-selected 2 portfolios for you to review. So if we could quickly open that, the first person is Jana. Jana, if you are in the chat, say hi to us. If you have any questions, let me know as well. First question would be, which project catches your eye?
I have one.
Yeah, go for it.
I think this was really kind of the work, the image with the water flowing had captured something. So this is something really interesting. I think when I look at it, I don't really know if it's 3D or if it's like actual water flying through air, and it's so you've seen the actual water flying through air maybe multiple times in like the
Dali thing.
Yeah, or like a vodka ad or something.
Yeah.
But this is something that you're not quite sure of what's happening there. And I thought it was interesting. And I'm not sure if this is like illustration or if it's art or
Jana is saying, hey, I'm here really excited. Yeah, Jana, if you could let us know what that is,
No,
that would help. A little description would be nice to have.
yeah. So
Is there one at the bottom?
Or at the top.
Let's see.
Not with this project, I guess.
It looks like experimentation.
It says that it's experimental 3D
Yeah.
render and
Yeah,
personal
okay.
work.
So I think, but there's some potential here. Like you already could see it working with different kinds of aesthetics, and it's very different from what we do,
Yeah.
which is kind of makes it interesting for us, maybe.
Yeah, it's nice and abstract.
In at the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now next, let you pick one.
There was this like collage work. It's like really like this like floating and dreamy.
I was looking at these ones as well.
Yeah.
These are quite nice.
I like this one maybe.
Yeah.
Where it like really quite nicely goes into the landscape, the face.
Plus the kind of the black and white kind of gives it also an analog feel. That
Yeah.
It could also be done in the dark room. You know, like with just
Manually.
manual exposure on paper.
Yeah.
Interesting. But
These
yeah.
also have this like really cinematic quality to them. Kind of reminds me of what was that like kind of crime series that was really big with Woody Harrelson and
True Detective.
yeah, like the first like the opening sequence.
Yeah, a little bit of that.
Like that was kind of similar, but this is like taking that a bit further and like kind of aestheticizing it even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would also be nice to have a description, maybe, Jana, to say where you got the images from. Did you take them yourself? Did you merge them? I also saw the previous project that we had open. She's saying it was my first experiment in Adobe Dimension.
Okay.
So
nice.
the one that you opened.
Yeah.
Now we have a project that you picked.
Oh yeah, yeah. I kind of like this is kind of like the similar collage stuff, but then like harder cuts and lines and kind of more contrasty images. So yeah, this is also quite nice, like framed this way that it's kind of like kind of more gestural, but obviously like it's following the same theme as the previous one. Yeah, like it's like I love making collages, and it's really nice to look at them. Also, it's just so much fun, like to combine things and like come up with the.
That was a big part of the early days of Inka and Antti. You both worked as illustrators and did a lot of.
Yeah, I did also like a lot of like collage, like digital and analog collage as well.
What could she improve in the 3 projects that you just opened, or in the display? How she displays the projects?
I think one thing here is that she's displaying quite a lot of different types of projects. So there's like things ranging from sort of art, like this looks like it could be like a statement, or is it I don't know, is it like an illustration? But then like, and then there's some like little identity thing. So I guess like, yeah, we're also like, I think we're in a position ourselves where we have like a really specific focus, like what we want to do, and we know what we want to do. So kind of like start streamlining, I guess, a little bit towards the like what she would like to be doing more in the future.
Yeah.
But it's also like just really nice to experiment and like be open to things and try things out.
Yeah, it's like depends if you want to be like an illustrator, if you want to do like certain kind of style, if you want to have like a signature style, then it's good to maybe at some point try to think about that and what kind of works you want to do and portray such works in your portfolio. And also, I think like if you're making like images like this, it's usually always that if a client comes to you, he or she probably wants something that he has already seen in your portfolio. so then it's good to like do these like personal projects and guide the clients that way also.
And I would add to that that it's also really cool to have multiple portfolios. So a lot of graphic designers might have that artistic side or the illustrator side. So you don't have to put everything together. You can have play around with multiple identities and have like an alter ego. Like the Antis has an exhibition coming up also with screen printing. And it's something that we're always kind of like fans of at the studio, but we don't even get to see what happens behind the scenes.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit.
We don't post it on the Tsto side.
Yeah,
like,
it's
I
kind
mean,
of
we promote it on
yeah.
Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, but it's sometimes nice to do, like as Jonathan said, with a different identity. Then you can do something totally different. Whereas in Tsto, it's like all of us kind of together, and we have like this like shared identity, and we have certain kind of profile.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Which project there did least catch your attention? Which one did you just scroll over? You didn't even notice that it was there, really.
Interesting. I would say a laptop and a mobile phone. It's just
And why?
It's just such a kind of we see it in every ad. So maybe it's a thumbnail. Maybe it's totally different.
This project could be super interesting, but the thumbnail, like
So you think the thumbnail is misleading?
It's a huge. It's a huge. The thumbnails are. At some point, we kind of started to, for example, in artist websites, we started to drift away from thumbnails since they also can create these kind of problems that maybe it's not always. Maybe the cover is not what it's really about.
But then if this is a short film, cinematic mood, so it's going to be difficult to display it. Like how do you show in the thumbnail that this is a moving image thing?
Video.
Yeah. So
Should we
I guess
play that quickly?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, maybe this is our favorite project.
You see
after all.
what it actually is.
Yeah. Also, maybe the collages kind of come to life after all, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Maybe it would help if you would just put like a play button symbol on the avatar there, rather than the the laptop and the phone. I agree with you. You would think maybe that was a website and a mobile app, but apparently it's a video. So maybe it would help. Maybe just have the background picture, one of the stills that are in the film, and just have put a play button in Photoshop on top, and so people are aware that it's a video that they can play or something.
And thumbnails are such small images, and then if you have inside the thumbnail, you have like this computer, and then your work is inside that small screen, so it becomes like a really tiny.
It's smaller and smaller and smaller.
And then getting into thumbnails like this Vero thing. Like having the super small type there, I think it would work better just to kind of blow this thing up, or some part of the identity, and make that into the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I hope, Jana, that helps, and we enjoyed reviewing your portfolio. We have to jump on to the next.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Jana.
Thank you, Jana.
Isaac.
Keep it up.
So Isaac, if you're in the chat, drop me a line. If you have questions, drop me a line too. Same question. Which project catches your eye? Let's start with Jonathan again. Yeah.
So I thought from the thumbnail itself, this was kind of an interesting image, since I don't really know what the medium here is, and now we have a little bit of a description.
This is a digital illustration that I produced.
Oh, sorry.
That I produced for my creative Instagram under a week after I watched the Isle of Dogs film in my spare time.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful to see people do things that you can't do, and I think for me it's definitely like there's the digital painting is something that I drifted way too far of. So I don't know. It had a bit of a mood that I thought was nice and soft and calm,
Plus, you're really into dogs.
I
You're
like
like
dogs.
when we're walking in Barcelona with him, he's like patting every dog we see on the street.
At the roof, there's a nice spot for dogs.
I'm the same, to be honest. I understand. But let's continue with the portfolio. Pick a project.
Well, I think, for example, here that I look at this one, this one pops into my eye because it has such different colors than the rest of the stuff. They have really like what's murrettu in English?
Like broken.
Like broken colors, you know, like really like not that saturated. But then this one has like a really strong yellow and red combination. So it pops into mind. It's nice, like this silk screen copy machine style.
I would have said the same one. This
Yeah.
is like it works like the illustration above or this thing. Like for the colors, it works really well. Like kind of this like retro thematics, and then the type is also like working in this like same environment.
Yeah.
So
Maybe if we could say some like advice how this could be like presented. Maybe like I wouldn't use like this photo because you could just have it. Here the colors are really like vivid, but then when you have like a photo, it's not, the lighting is not that good, so it's becoming a bit more like everyday kind of image. It's not that polished, which works here nice. So you could only use like images straight from files. You wouldn't need like
you could just
photography.
like or if you want to use the template, you could just like Photoshop it on top of it, but keep the same color thing going.
Yeah.
Isaac is saying hi
Hi.
so
Hi,
far.
Isaac.
Hi,
And Jana
Isaac.
said thanks for the feedback. Yeah, so you can improve the lighting of that shot. That's great feedback, thank you. Now you pick
Okay,
a
yeah,
project.
that would have been my initial choice as well. Tough to say. I'm a fan of Grand Theft Auto, so like this illustration. Oh, it doesn't open
Is
up.
there something coming? Maybe it's our internet connection.
Oh, okay. Well, just the thumbnail kind of like reminds me of this. Like, there's a lot of like.
Let's try this again.
Okay.
How about reloading?
Doesn't seem. It's either the image is really, really big,
Or something.
or
from-
it's not there,
Okay.
or our internet is not there.
All right. Yeah.
Let's pick another one.
Yeah. Okay. Another one. Okay. I had a look earlier, and this was really like I really like the type here, and like this works really beautifully. This kind of hand lettering kind of thing. It reminds me of this. What's Kranaek's name?
Erkki Toukolehto.
Oh yeah. So he's like a Finnish illustrator slash he does a lot of lettering, and then it's got this sort of like really nice playfulness around the type, the hand drawn one. And I think for improvement, like the lettering itself is so strong, and then there's the word art. So I would even drop out this brush. That it's like there's like a double reference to art. Like
So you would avoid these?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I would just drop this element and then like make this thing like a bigger part of the actual identity. You can kind of start dropping like all the other like references to art, because it's an event, I guess. So it would stand out. It's a strong piece, so it would stand out really nicely on its own. And maybe like cutting out from this kind of like there's like so much layering going on here that it would stand out beautifully on its own. Like more confidence, I would say.
Yeah, and maybe get rid of the like Facebook images, because it's like maybe, I don't know, the identity of Facebook is not that nice. So it would just look, maybe if you'd have this like laptop and it would just have like a huge this art society or what it was logo there.
Yeah. And this kind of like this section seems like a bit cluttered. Like there's a lot of different things and kind of template looking layouts here. And, okay, I guess this is from Facebook or something. I don't know. Yeah, but it's this is that lettering is beautiful. I would I would really recommend you like start doing more lettering. or trying like different like stronger type things out and like.
Is this like a custom-made typeface?
Oh yeah, or is it a font?
Or is it like a ready, like a Muscall in? It's
Okay.
that, but I don't know if it's like.
No,
like
but you can still
bespoke
use the
typeface.
aesthetic.
Yeah.
But it's like it's really nicely like even if it's a ready typeface, it's like it's really nicely chosen here.
Yeah.
The word art, there's something that's like funny and like
it's
it's
not
not too
like-
serious.
Yeah, it's like there's a little smile on it,
Yeah.
or it brings a smile to my face. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for the feedback. Let's go to one that didn't get your attention.
Well, maybe like.
Which one did you not look at all?
Well, maybe this is like it's the same when Jana's portfolio, maybe with the laptop and the mobile. Here, there's this like maybe, and there's nothing like, you know, like big and punchy element where you can grab onto. It's just like this. It looks just like a basic layout. So that's like a really.
So the paper.
Yeah. It looks like too common in a way. Yeah.
And when you open it,
Well, yeah, and when I open it, there's also like looks like there's like stock images in a pretty like basic layout. So
Yeah. So
what would you recommend? Would you recommend placeholder squares, or would you recommend shooting your own pictures, or?
well, I think like with these, you can just have like you don't necessarily have to shoot the pictures, because if you shoot, you should have like some like there should be like some tactile element, you know, that if you want to portray an embossing or like a nice texture on a paper or something. But maybe if you just like have like this really like a basic magazine, they could also be just from files and on a black background or a white background.
And I guess this is like.
It looks
these
like
are,
it's like
these are built from
Photoshop.
files.
Yeah.
But then this looks like you've gotten some really good training in like just like basic layout, and it's really important to get that routine going.
Yeah.
And it's like nice to see that you can handle that side as well.
So maybe a case of separate portfolios again. Maybe there's a portfolio that expresses a bit more, and then the one that says that okay, I can do actual work. I'll show up on Monday.
Yeah.
What do you think about the page selection here? Do you think it's too many? Should it be less, or should it be a different angle?
Well, it would be nice to see, for example, a cover or something. Now it's everything is like, or like a full page with just like a full page image, so there would be like more rhythm. Like,
And the description?
I think this is.
I'm just thinking it probably would help if the description was under each of the images rather than this entire block at the end.
Yeah, but there are some like small descriptions, but I don't know, they're pretty like.
They're too small.
Yeah, and they're like, they don't tell me that much. Yeah.
Okay. I hope, Isaac, that helped you to improve your portfolio, but also great work. It was really nice seeing that. Thank you very much, guys, for being here and letting us enter your world into Tsto agency. It was really nice hearing about all of that. And good luck here at the OFF conference. Enjoy, and hope seeing you soon again. And coming up next is Marina, so stay in and talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye.